Miss Cheryl, good morning. How are you this morning? Lucky's probably already on the way to work, ain't he? Hello? There, I'm all set. Figured it out. How's the new kitty cat doing, Miss Cheryl? Sharing this out to my Instagram. We're doing good. Yeah, that kitty cat's all over the place, ain't it? Doing real good. Hot as anything. Been warm as anything down here. Been having a couple of rainstorms come up. Still early yet, Central Time. Well, today, Miss Cheryl, it's going to be in the 80s. They said 6 degrees cooler than what it was yesterday. So there's a link if anybody wants to come up. Anybody wakes up. Good morning. How you doing this morning? Oh man. I got a video download on here. I got to get off of here and delete, edit what I've been working on this week. I got my grass cutter in here. I got to get working on. We got 6 people in the house so far. All right. Be all alone up here all by myself. All right, Miss Cheryl. You have yourself a good one. I surely do appreciate it. There's Mark. What's up? Here comes David coming up. Here comes David. Good morning, David.
Morning. Hear me okay?
Yep, I hear you just fine, sir.
Okay.
How's things going, brother?
Oh, it's early in the morning.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, doing
It,
good though.
all right, V twin, be careful. Keep that sunny side standing straight up, and dirty side down, buddy.
We go back to bed after a little bit, okay?
Yeah, last week, you know you know how life is. I spent 2 days at the dealership. Got a new vehicle, but it took dealership. Boy, you go to a dealership, go buy a vehicle, man. It take you all day.
What'd you do?
Well,
Go
we
get a
got
new truck?
no. I traded my truck off.
Uh huh.
I had I've been needing an SUV for the family, you know.
Uh huh.
So went down a Nissan dealership. I swapped my truck off for a 2017 Nissan Rogue. Uh,
Okay.
Traded it off. Now I gotta look. Now I gotta find a trailer hitch so I can get it put on, so I can pull my trailer if I need to, or wait a little bit and find me an old bum around truck. You know,
Oh yeah.
I think I'll just wait a little bit and find me a little bum around truck with good air conditioning, automatic. You know,
Oh yeah. Uh huh.
I like to find me a little Ranger Danger or a little S10. I like. I even like the Dodge Dakotas, the 4-door ones. I like them. But it's got to have V8 for me.
Yeah, that's the thing with Dakotas. You can get one with the V8.
Hmm. There's my buddy, Brian Paul. What's up, buddy? That's my buddy right there. My brother from another mother right there. He finally made it to my live stream. Hey Nate, what's up, go karts? See, everybody's waking up now, David.
Yeah, I'm pretty soon I'll be waking up here. I got my coffee.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I got it in my Bubba mug.
Yeah, in my mug.
Mm-hmm. Loading up to get to the beach. Well, you be careful going down there, brother. You be careful too, Nate. Nate's got the job of all jobs. He works in the management side, like a hunt management, style down
Uh
there in
huh.
Florida. And he works with the fire department and environmental services. And he sees hogs. He sees all kinds of things during the day.
Oh, okay.
I got to get my buddy Brian there. Get him going on YouTube because he does a lot of carpenter work, building houses and stuff like that. And
Okay.
I think if he gets on to do YouTube and does some videos of what his work is and how to do things and everything like that, I think his channel will grow. Herb, what's up? Long time no see. Put another link up. So what you been working on this week?
Who that, me, Doug?
Yeah, David. Yeah.
Oh, well, yesterday I went out garage, just built a new bench, needed a better
Mm-hmm.
workbench. I forgot all about making a video of it though.
You forgot to pick up the camera, huh?
Yeah. I didn't even have my clock radio on playing music out in the garage. I just went out there and just knocked it out real quick.
Mm-hmm. I got that rider I've been working on, that yard man.
Yeah, I saw that
I got it.
video. Uh-huh.
I got it running, and I need to do another video of it because it runs good. Except I got a little popping. It's mostly a Zoss pop.
Uh-huh.
And working on retiring. LOL. I hear you, Brian. And I think I might have some burnt valves in it.
Uh-huh.
And yesterday, I pulled it out of the shop and I started cutting grass with it. And it just started acting up kind of funny, and shut off on me. And I do it again. It seemed like when it got hotter and hotter and hotter it just did it more. But I'm thinking one of two things. Either I'm out a spark plug is fixing to go out on me, or the coil's fixing to go out. Because the plug didn't look all that great in it when
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to put a new spark plug in it and try it and see how that's going to work out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I put a new carburetor on it, and
yeah. Uh-huh.
I ain't touched the carburetor at all except for taking the anti-backfire solenoid and clipping the end of it.
Uh-huh.
And that's the only thing I've done to it.
Okay. Don't remember now if I watched that video or just came across it.
Mm-hmm.
You were working on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? So you running some short yard jockeying? Who you working for somebody now, Urban? Hey Ed, good morning, buddy. Well, you be careful yard jockeying. That's all good, Ed. I know a lot of people still work, Oh, cool. That's what I did. I had yard jockey trailers before I got hurt and got put out of work. Zippo will probably be up here shortly.
Yeah, he's usually on your live streams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, bro. See you later, Brian. I'll do it. I'll call you later. You be careful. He's a good guy. You remember that video I did, the video series I did with the truck, putting in the floor pans in the truck?
Yeah, that was that old F-150 or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was his truck, Brian Pauls's. That was his truck I did it for.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Something like about an 85 model, wasn't it?
Now, 78 model.
Okay.
Hey, Tommy.
Okay.
What's up, Tommy? Put another link up. Oh, Tommy Powers. Bubs, what's up? Oh, Bubs Vacation. Oh, man. Got to go to either Home Depot or Lowe's today, go get some insulation from Mama's shop. I hear you, Bubs. I know it's been warm up your way, too. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Brian. Don't forget, next week is my little granddaughter's birthday now, Brian. I'll call you and let you know. We're going to have a big old thing for her. We're going to be renting one of them big inflatables. You watching TV? David, you watching TV?
Yeah, it's on the big screen, but it's got muted, but it's kind of a couple seconds off.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
And then too, watch the TVs nowadays have the TCL TV we got has Roku player on it, and you can get YouTube on it, but you can watch videos, you can like them or not like them. and
Yeah.
subscribe to a guy, but you can't talk over it. That's frustrating.
Yeah, if you got, like right now, you're on Yardstream with me, StreamYard
Yeah.
with me, and it's through YouTube too. And you have to mute that on your TV so you'd be all here, so it won't be backfeeding. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I discovered that before.
Been doing good, Tommy. We had real good thunderstorm come through the other day, and good old downpour, boy. Other than that, been doing good, man. Jet, what's up? Oh, Jet from Tampa Boys Custom. Tying my shoes. I want to get me a pair of Georgia boots. Georgia Ranchers. Getting lazy in my old age. Put slip-ons on. Robert, what's up, buddy? Good morning. There's a link there if anybody wants it. Oh, Robert Waters. There's a small engine guy. Well, you're right up above me. 2 states up there, Tommy. So about what I get, you get. Where you live at, Tom? David? You probably told me a time or two.
Oh, who, me?
Yeah.
No, southeast Kansas, where we're living now. We bought this
Okay.
house 4 years ago.
There's that.
We found a good church we're going to now. We're getting ready to become members there at it. Baptist Church
Good.
up the road from us.
Mhm. Good. Good. My wife's a pastor, a friend of mine. Uh, he was the pastor at a church down there in Florida where I got baptized at a long time ago. Long time ago. And the old pastor that was there, he moved on and he come on in after him, I guess. And the church told him that he had to go. And because his wife passed away and he started dating another person, you know, a year and a half later on, he started dating somebody.
Yeah.
And so they asked him he had to step down.
Yeah, it's funny. Church rules from one church to another.
Mm-hmm. I heard that, Tommy. Uh, out there in Iowa, boy, they got hit hard, didn't they? Got hit pretty good. Like, Iowa got hit. Sparky. Boo. What's up, Sparky? My UK. There's one of the UK brothers. I better go get that cotton picking phone. I'll be right back, David.
Uh-huh.
There we go. We got Robert up here now.
Yep.
Good morning, Chris.
Chat too.
I don't know, Robert, if you heard me telling David, I got that 17.5 horse Briggs OHV.
Mm-hmm.
I put a new carburetor on it, and you can hear you can hear it backfiring through the exhaust, like misfiring through the exhaust.
Mm-hmm.
And but other than that, running good. Except she shut down on me, just lost complete power, shut down, and it'll fire back up, run for a little bit, and shut off again.
Almost. Are you sure the coil's not breaking down?
That's what I'm seriously thinking about. But you can hear, how when you got a valve that's not really seating right, you know what I mean? You can hear it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna have to do valve job on it.
Okay. That's hard to do at home.
But as far as shutting off, it's got to be coil or spark plug,
Not necessarily, but that's a likely scenario.
Oh yeah.
Denver. Come here.
Good to see you too, Rover. I'll tell Mama that I heard from you.
I was watching your videos on that. I saw where people.
I don't know, Chris.
Specialty. Technically, there are none that would have helped you in that situation. Realistically, the only thing that would have came close.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Like one of these screwdrivers to remove the Venturi to help clean it, but that really wouldn't help either.
No.
Uh,
Yeah.
maybe an ultrasonic cleaner, but you know.
You be on TV? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. David was telling me. Yeah.
Oh.
David was telling me that Briggs used to have a carb kit, toolkit.
They did, but what they had was stuff like
So I
screwdriver. I just
went
picked
through
up.
3 of those carburetors. I said, yeah.
They had a punch to reset the Welch plugs. Trying to think of anything else they had that was useful. Not really.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, there's not much as far as specialty tools on carburetors from Briggs. Tecumseh had a lot more.
Okay.
They had
Yeah.
some float bowl tools. I always preferred this gauge right here to set the float bowls. But Tecumseh had
Yeah. I remember that gauge.
let's see.
I don't know, Chris. I really don't know. I like to do a pressure test on the cylinder.
Yeah, you could probably. I would do a leak down if you're going to do anything.
Yeah.
Dang, I can't
Yeah.
even
Before I
find
get
my
into the
Tecumseh
Yeah,
float
before I
bowl.
get into pulling the head off and doing the valve job on it, I like to do a leak down test on it.
I would to see where you have, because this at a valve job to do it at home is
Mhm.
difficult. I mean, you either have to do what Zippo does, or you have to have, which I think this is a better set, one of these cutter grinder kits. See, this is the valve side. This recuts the valve. And I've also got the engine side. These are, I've got a valve grinder, but I actually prefer this set. You can recut the
The only way I'll be able to do The only way I'll be able to do it, is just hand lap the valves back in. You know what I mean? I won't be able to do it.
Oh, these kits are, I mean, a few $100s a piece for the decent ones.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're not really set up for home use. I mean, you'd have to be a shop to justify it. I've got, technically you can buy the valve grinder cheaper. I've got one of those in the shop somewhere. And I've also got the seat tools as well, the old style stones.
Right.
But they wear over time. They don't do quite as good of a job.
Yeah. My dad used to have the cutter, to recut the valve in, seat in. He used to have one, and I don't even know where it took off running to, because it was set right in the stem hole, and just stay right steady with the stem hole, and just cut it out by hand.
Oh, so you had the cutter like that then, the new way style, where you had to just. A lot of those, they're valuable. People, as they get sick, will sell them because, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
At one time, I could sell that for $300-400.
Oh, I bet.
Especially the
I
American
bet.
made. Now you can get the Chinese ones.
Mm-hmm.
I had the ones. The stones are cheaper. In fact, we sold our
Mhm.
stones. They were valuable. The power grinders that you used to use, those hand
Right.
ones. Bought one
Mhm.
again recently for $50 with everything. Two of the motors, all the stones for it, all the tools with it, everything. It had $50 for the tools in the box, and it had the toolbox and everything with it.
Mhm.
Because it had steric gauges and everything. So I sold the steric gauges. Oddly, I just wanted it for my museum piece.
Okay.
I'm restoring a boring bar, spare one that I
Yeah.
have, and I was sat in the shop, and I was going to set the
Mhm.
valve grinder because it's my father's
Right.
next to it, and then I was going to put that next to the other,
Right.
just because that's your more rare tools to have.
Right.
So now, will I ever use it? No, I've got the cutters.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it the hard way.
I
I've
like
got
that. I like how your scenery is right now, Robert. That's a good live stream area for you. That's great right there. You know?
my background.
Yeah, your background.
It needs to be cleaned. But this is where essentially my toolbox is. It
Mhm.
goes around behind where the camera's sitting on one of my toolboxes.
Right. You got all Husky boxes, don't you?
Two of them are Husky. Those are the most recent two. Then a Craftsman,
Mhm.
and Equipto is what the camera's sitting on. It's on a tripod on top of my
Okay.
Equipto box. I've
Okay.
also got some filing cabinets I use as boxes for bigger tools.
Yep.
Like air tools, stuff like that.
Yep. My dad used to use a filing cabinet for bigger tools.
Hey, it works. And you can buy a room full of for $10. So
Mhm.
now,
Yeah.
well, like my chain
Yeah.
breakers and all, they're too big. So they're in a filing cabinet. But in fact, people say these Husky boxes don't hold up. I run a professional shop, work out of this thing as my only living, and I've had these Husky boxes for 10 years. If you can buy 3 of these for every Snap-on. Well, hell, actually, I think you can buy 10 of them for every Snap-on. Spread your tools out.
Yeah, you can. Well, you could you could buy probably 3. No, yeah, I would say probably 3 to 4 Husky boxes comparison to the new Icon boxes.
Yeah. And they didn't have the Icon level when I bought these. They, in fact, Husky was cheaper than Harbor Freight. That's why I went Husky. That's the only
Right.
reason I don't have Harbor Freight boxes. Is Husky was cheaper. The way we did the math, I could buy one a year, every year till I retire, and it would be cheaper
Mhm.
than buying a Snap-on box.
Oh Lord, yes.
So my theory was, if it didn't work out and it lasted 3 years, I'll buy a new one. I don't care.
Right.
And plus, I bought this one in 1995, and it was used.
Right.
The blue, it's painted blue. It was originally red. This one here, I was given in 1980, I think, somewhere around, in 83. I
Uh-huh.
was given this box. And my father had a shop since the 70s, so it was, again, probably not used as full time because I was a kid, but he had us rebuilding snappers before we were 13
Mm-hmm.
for sale.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working relatively full time for my dad at 13. So before 1990, that started going full time use. I took this with me to Motorola because it's sentimental, and I took that,
Right.
had that shop there. It's been professionally used. In fact, that's where all these welds are. It's at a bar across with the Lockett. It's been professionally used since at least the probably early 80s or early 90s. And
Right.
still there. It was built in the 1940s, and my dad used it professionally before I did.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
don't get the snap-on box thing.
It's the same thing with my dad. It's the same thing with my dad's box, his upper box, old Craftsman, you know, and he used it professionally when he used to work in a shop, you know. So if it held up since 1960s, you know,
Yeah.
he had to
I've got
repaint
a
it one
19
time.
This one started getting scratched up and old, so we painted it. I wish it would have went black to match what I ended up buying, because I'm too cheap to buy the color boxes.
Right.
But see, my dad had a toolbox that he gave me a few years back that he had painted blue, and I painted this one to match.
Right.
It's an Equipto box. It was from the 1920s. And I also got a service cart that they'd gotten out of the 1940s, out of a shop that was where I grew up. Came out of a professional shop. It's a Craftsman cart. Technically, it was a toolbox. They just upgraded the casters on it and used it as a service cart. It was from the 1940s as well. And they're cool looking, so I kept them. You know.
Yeah.
They
You know, Mike Jones, that's all he's got in his shop is all Husky boxes in Milwaukee. And, you know, and he uses Husky boxes for bolt bends and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And shoot, if he uses that,
that's a
it
lot
should
of weight.
hold up for anyone.
For my junk drawer, I use tip pins. Every one of these drawers here are full. But I've been in this industry and I've got toolkits for it. I've probably got tools you've never heard of, you know, for the small engine stuff. I've got deck straightening tools. I mean, this is actually just a tap and die set here. That's got tap dies, helicoils, nut sets. This is engine rebuilding tools. You know, I've got everything from like even the precision home sets.
East Coast UK. I'll check out your page.
You East Coast, what's up?
So I've got everything from precision hones in here to everything you basically need to rebuild an engine. I'm missing a few tools that my father won't turn loose of, but because we still have a shop in Indiana that we've closed it, but he still keeps some of his old tools that you can't buy anymore. That have become a little harder to get.
Yeah, I even got the brake hone tools that my dad had to hone out the old brake cylinders.
I've got some of those as well, but I'm a little lacking on my deglazing setup because mine went bad, and we don't rebuild engines as much as we used to, which is what your brake hone.
Right.
Yeah, they're essentially deglazing. I'm lacking on that because mine went bad and I haven't replaced it. Dad's got
Right.
one, but with the I wouldn't want to use a bad one. If I was going to do the job, I'd buy a new one at this point.
Right.
It's just there's not much call for a rebuild of a small engine anymore, and I won't do it like what some people show on YouTube. If you're gonna do it right. You know, do a precision hone job, then deglaze it. Put the cross hatching back in it. Yeah. I figure I've got enough work. I don't need to be taking the crap stuff. If you're not going to do the job right, why bother? Just like hell, this drawer right here is nothing but torque room. So I firmly believe in doing the job right.
What do you say, Mick? Riley?
How you doing, Doug?
Must be dinner time.
Lunchtime, brother. Lunchtime.
Lunchtime. Yep. Yep.
Hot
What are you doing, boy?
dog, what's up?
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
Daddy?
How you doing, buddy?
What? Daddy?
Uh-huh.
You're pushing Mama.
Yeah.
You want that?
Do what?
He said, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right.
Daddy?
Oh,
You got him.
No, that's Robert Waters. Hi, Robert. How
wow.
Hello. Hi, Nick. Hi, Riley.
Daddy?
Yeah.
You're Santa Claus?
you doing? No,
Who's that?
that is David.
Hi, Daddy.
Hey, guy.
Hi.
I did
Santa Claus.
find one you might look at when we're doing.
Who's that?
What are you?
It's this vacuum pressure thing. You might look at that if you're going to do a lot of carburetor stuff for a specialty tool. That's not a brake tool.
Right.
You want to look for a Mighty Buy.
Does that do tanks
Okay.
as well?
This what it'll do is it'll show you that the float works on the carburetor.
Uh-huh.
It'll also vacuum test a 2-cycle carburetor.
Will it
You
vacuum
press it up.
test a
Okay.
vacuum test a tank as well or not?
Yes, but you'd have to build a. I've got adapters built for that, but yes, it will actually do that.
Yeah.
I mainly use it for carburetors. I don't. Most of the tanks, I pretty much can tell what's the problem. To be honest, you have those rare occasions, but you know, it's kind of like a compression test. In theory, a compression test is great. In reality, you know.
I find those compression testers are just right just before you throw the two cycle machine across the shed. That's where they come in.
Yeah. Typically, by the time you actually run a compression test, you already know what the answer is. You know? That's why I believe more in a leak down test. You know, I'm pretty bad about trying to run the amateur's pressure test or compression test. You pull the rope. Oh, this feels okay.
Yeah.
And not doing it, and then coming back and finding out it's like, you know, this thing doesn't have compression. Go back and run the test after you've done some repair work on it. Ah, crap.
Yeah. I find just throwing it across the shed about 15 times tends to fix most 2-cycle trimmers.
I don't work on them anymore. Unless I sold it.
I don't mind them.
you're losing money on
Yoda
a
Doug.
two-stroke.
Say again, Doug.
I said Yoda Doug's in the house. Got Chris from Outcast, and got East Coast UK in the house.
What's up, Yoda? How you doing? I've just finished doing a 6.5 kVA generator yesterday. That came in. Been sat in the shed for about 3 years, and the carburetor was lime green, not algae.
Wow.
I don't think it's oil coming through through the crank. I don't know what it was in there, but the tank had stale yellow fuel, but the carburetor was full of like this lime green petrol. I wouldn't say it's two-stroke. I don't know what was in there, but just a carburetor. Really weird.
How long had it been sitting?
Huh.
3 years.
I would have figured older with the lime green. The older fuels would actually corrode them in that way.
Yeah, the carburetor itself was not at all corroded, pitted, or anything. The carburetor is in really good condition once it had been cleaned, but it was just really bright green.
It had ethanol-free fuel in it.
Oh, we don't have the fuel. We don't have the fuel problems like you guys do over here. Not yet.
You're selling more ethanol-free then, basically, the actual gasoline.
Yeah.
Actual gasoline will do that with certain additives. It'll actually, it almost looks like a slime, but it's a stain type deal.
Over here, unless you really
Is it an aluminum carburetor or copper? Both.
Not a lot of people use the old stabilizers and additives. Really, not a great deal.
Well, you didn't need it with the ethanol-free fuel. It'll actually stabilize or stay longer. In fact, Sta-Bil originally was just an oil, and if you pour two-stroke oil, it worked.
Yeah.
It put a film across the fuel to stop it from evaporating. That's all it really was. That's all Sta-Bil originally was. The ethanol changed that.
I just put it in the carb cleaner with some white spirit or what you call turpentine, a little bit of turpentine, and just get it brought up real nice.
I probably didn't get rid of all the green, but I bet it worked.
Yeah, no, okay, it came up really clean. It came up, not brand new, but it came up really good, really good.
No, she's down. Sit right there.
The green is actually corrosion, but we couldn't always get rid of it. I remember that from years ago when our fuel was ethanol free.
You'd like to think if the fuel was if that was that green inside especially the bowl, you'd like to see some form of corrosion inside the bowl itself, but there was nothing. It was really good. Really good.
Huh.
I hear you, David.
The pitting is more modern fuels. The older stuff didn't pit. That's why I think they ran a better fuel.
I've been using non-ethanol fuel. We could get it here at the gas station. We could get that non-ethanol fuel.
Yeah, I got to drive 20-something miles to get non-ethanol fuel. Actually, thinking about it, probably 35 to the closest gas station. Just serves it. So we're stuck.
Yoda was saying it's a bit like copper when it corrodes, but you know the two main jets and the tube, they're brass. So
yeah,
I'll expect that too. It doesn't go. It wasn't that sort of green. This was bright green, like a 2-cycle oil mixture. That's how bright it was. You know, it was really bright. Anyway,
there's one carburetor I took apart. I went to tear down and clean. The bowl looked like it had a red streak, you know, where the fuel was sitting at. It's kind of reddish. It looked like somebody had some fuel outages in it.
Yeah.
A lot
Who
of fuel
knows?
outages do weird stuff.
The bloke who the generator belonged to, he's not the kind of person to be adding any type of additives, stabilizers, or that sort of stuff. If anything, I was expecting there to be diesel in it. Do you know what I mean? He's just not. He's not that kind of person. So I don't know what's gone on. Who knows? It's always it's always the truth behind the story. Hey, it was running fine
Yep.
yesterday, just backed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
We call that the law of House. Everybody lies.
Well, when he said it was running fine 3 years ago, which I sort of believe to a degree, I said, "Is it a petrol generator or diesel?" He said, "Well, I don't know." There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it was his. Is the truth of the matter.
The green makes me think it's been sitting longer than you think, but because I haven't seen that in years. But I realize you're in a different country, so different fuels. But I don't think I've seen green in a carburetor in 10 years.
To be fair, he is a travelling gentleman. So maybe the green fuel is Irish fuel. It might come from Ireland.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all done now. All done and running.
You know, some of the I noticed when I used to drive over the road, some fuel stops you get green fuel, and some fuel stops you get this brown tint to it. You know what I mean?
Well,
I always figured that's the rust from the tank.
they do run over here in the UK. We also have cherry diesel, which is the agricultural diesel. In Ireland, they do actually have green diesel, but this is a petrol generator, not a diesel one. So it didn't have that consistency of diesel. It evaporated very fast, so it was definitely petrol. But it could have been maybe a bit of oil come through from the crankcase.
Y'all sell a lot more diesel over there because a lot of your vehicles over there. There's Mrs. P, that good looking thing you.
Hi, Doug.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing, Mrs. P?
I'm good, thank you.
He's just been down the pub, Doug, again.
What, this time?
Mm-hmm.
Daddy?
Yeah.
Is your more coming?
That's it.
Daddy? Hey, Dad?
Yeah.
Where's Mama?
She's still asleep, buddy.
Oh, you push away more, but. Oh. You push away more, but.
She's so lazy, Doug, isn't she? Still
Daddy.
asleep.
Daddy?
Yep, she's still asleep.
Daddy? It does a robot.
Robot.
He does sound better, robot, doesn't he? No, what's in there?
Daddy?
Oh, yeah. He's on the other side of the world. That's why it sounds a bit funny.
Thank you. Mommy, I'll pop it on too.
Duke, good morning, Duke.
Is it as hot as hell over there, Doug? Is it?
Man, it's been hot. We've been having thunderstorms in the evening. And we had some real good ones come through here the other day.
Yeah. It's been hot
Did you get
over
that
here.
derecho or whatever it was?
Do what, Robert?
Say again?
Did you get that derecho thing, or is that just up here? Where it's almost like a hurricane?
Man, it was rough, man. That wind blew like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. We got something they called like a derecho or something like that. It was a slow moving storm, real heavy wind, for like a day or two.
No, we didn't get that. We might have had a spin-off from it, you know what I mean? But
I didn't get the worst of it. The worst of it hit Chicago and north of us.
oh really?
But we still, people were losing trees. It felt like my doors were coming in. It was horrid.
Yeah.
My wife described it as she was from the coast. She thought it was just like a hurricane
Mm-hmm.
coming through.
I never tracked that hurricane that came up through the East Coast last week. I never did track that one. I don't know if it spun back around or what.
This came across land. It wasn't like a hurricane coming up like what we see, where you get a lot of rain. It was just windy.
Right. Old Duke, he lives further south than me. He lives down in Mobile, Alabama. It's been hotter. It's been hot.
Chew!
Boy, you're
Oh,
fixing to blow up, ain't you?
yeah. Yeah, brother. So what you working on, then, dog? Anything good?
Got done with that Yardman mower. Still having a little bit of problems with it. That's what me and Robert was talking about.
Uh-huh.
And took my grass cutter out yesterday, started mowing grass. Some unknown reason started flooding itself. And I think I got some trash in the carburetor.
You put new blades
So
on it?
I got to put new blades on it. Well, I got it in here right now, completely jacked up in the air.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put new blades on it, and I'm going to drop the bowl onto it. Look in the bowl and see if there's something or another. I think it's hanging up to float on it.
Probably got one of your chicken wings in there, buddy. I expect you had for lunch.
Probably so. It could be. Ain't no telling around here. Shoot, around here lately, it looks like a daycare around here lately.
Did you use one of those cheap carbs, basically?
Yeah, I only cost. Well, I got it from eBay, but I got it from. It was the seller was here in the United States, so.
Okay. What you might want to do is get some beauty Q-tips. Back there, nice to have around in a small engine shop. Take some toothpaste, stick it on the end of the pointed Q-tip, and go up there and polish the seat, because a lot of the eBay stuff wasn't finished, and that's why you'll get a little bit of issues. That's why they're so cheap. But just basically put some toothpaste on the end of the pointed Q-tip. You can chuck it up in a drill or something and make it easier, and just run it up against the seat. It'll polish it.
Right.
And we had to do that on some of the cheap carbs.
It's like old Muskie One does. He takes a Q-tip, puts it on the end of a drill, puts some paste onto it, runs it in that seat a little bit, then cleans it out, polishes it right up.
I'm having problems with a chainsaw carburetor at the moment on a Husky. Oh Lord! The man wanted a cheap carburetor, so I ordered one up. It's all running, but I just can't find that sweet spot. So
a lot of cheap stuff I have to clean before I use.
Yeah, I hear that.
Because I don't think they're finishing the process. They're not cleaning the oils out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree
I've
with
had
that.
about a 50% failure rate out of that cheap stuff. As far as to try to get the right RPMs to try to make it run perfect. It'll run, but you're not really running right. Type scenario. Best bet's to clean them right before you almost start on that cheap eBay, Amazon.
Yeah, I hear that. I had a couple of I think it was on a couple of trimmers I was doing. I actually took two apart prior to installation, brand new carburetors, and the screen was absolutely gunked up with finishing oils and engineering oils, absolutely gummed right up in there. Clean all that out to begin with. I think the main issue is though, Robert, is that the diaphragms are just not of the same materials that you would like that you find in a professional or genuine product. So as long as it runs and I can get it to idle up fine and top out reasonably well, I'll just go. I'm happy with an average. As long as it does pretty well, I'm happy with that.
You see what Yoda Doug put in the comment?
I can't see the comments.
Vacuum repairs. On Dyson. Vacuum cleaners. I just got a leaf blower and sucker. So I was using the house, just go around with a blower and just blow it into a corner.
Well, I look at it as somebody paid me enough, I'd fix anything.
The problem I have in my house, it don't matter if I fixed it or not, because my Mrs. P, when she gets on the Hoover or the vacuum, when she gets on it, anything that's on the ground is fair game. I'm talking remote controls, I'm talking socks, I'm talking, it doesn't matter. Anything that's on that floor is fair game on the vacuum. So, to be fair, I spend most of my days taking things apart and taking socks and pants and remote controls and batteries, and it all goes up the pipe. She's terrible.
Yeah, I gotta find a head for I gotta find a gear head for a Echo SRAM 225. I gotta find a gear head for one.
For an Echo what?
Echo SRM 225.
Mm-hmm.
The gearheads didn't go out very often on them. You should be able to find that used.
Yeah, I found them. I found one for $55 on eBay, and anywhere between $55 to $138 for them.
I didn't think they were that expensive. I've been a while since I've been Echo. I don't do much two-stroke anymore, just because the parts are so expensive. By the time you actually do a repair and do it right, I could buy a new trimmer.
Right.
So they're just not worth dealing with. But I thought they would have been around the $55 mark, realistically, for just the gear part.
I found a used one for $55. And I said,
A lot of times those don't go bad. Most time people, in fact, 90% of the failures on two-stroke is the oil separated out of the gas, or as far as the total failure. Now there's a lot of carb issues. One of the shops charges $125 to tell you the carburetor.
mm-hmm.
Then it's $250 if you want it fixed. Well, hell, what's the point? Sell them a new one.
Right.
I just I can't hand a guy a $100 bill for a trimmer, and I got to pay my overhead, so I just don't do them.
My small engine shop down here had to wait 3 days for a priming bulb, air filter, and the fuel filter. 3 days.
They made you order that?
That's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't have it in stock, man. For Echo, you know what I mean?
I actually have that stuff in stock. I just don't work on it. Hell, it's
Right.
possible I got a carburetor up there. I don't stock all the carburetors, but that's a common echo.
Yeah. You know, I got an Echo and I got a Husqvarna, and I got to get a carburetor for the Husqvarna because I ain't trying to mess with those 2-stroke carburetors. I'm gonna pull them off, put a new one on it, and be done with it. You know?
Come on, Doug. Doug, you need to do a video on you taking apart a 2-stroke carburetor, fiddling with it, losing your rag, and all the rest of you. It'd be a good video, Doug.
Yeah, a good laughing video because I ain't gonna do it.
Especially on a Husqvarna, if chances are you can buy a carburetor about as cheap as you can buy a carb kit.
Yeah, exactly.
Husqvarna, a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
I looked at a carburetor for a Husky 3.8. I think it was a 3.68. I think. Genuine Zama part was in the UK £52. Copy carburetor was £15, and a genuine carburetor kit was £25.
Oh, on a Husqvarna carburetor, always look up OEM Husky, not Zama.
Yeah,
Because Husky will actually be cheaper than Zama by about half.
Yeah.
Never go for the Zama number. Always take the saw or the trimmer number in, because Husky for some reason is dirt cheap on carburetors. It's kind of like if you rebuild a Honda small Honda carburetor, you're an idiot. The carb kits will be $25 and the carb's $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
OEM. I mean, it's just stupid. Honda, at least in the States, on the small carburetors, they're cheaper than the gaskets for it.
Yeah. Same here.
I don't get why OEM is that way, but I don't stock a carb kit for a lot of the Honda carburetors. I'll just put a new carb on it.
Yeah.
They limit us on what we can sell aftermarket. I can't sell the super cheap stuff or I lose my dealership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm limited or restricted.
That makes sense.
Just like you actually won't see an old school lawnmower dealership with a crank straightener. Years ago, Briggs came around and canceled everybody that had one.
Yeah.
So anyone who's big has been around as long as me won't have one.
Yeah. I don't have one purely because they cost too much money to buy them.
Yeah.
They're also dangerous. Your liability goes through the roof.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not one to. I would much rather, and we can do it over here in the UK. I'd much rather take a crank out and replace it, as long as the damage is only just to the bent of a crank. I can probably replace a crank, have it fitted, have it out the door for about £90, dependent on the model. I picked up I did one on a Briggs 4.5 Briggs the other month. I managed to get the crank for £30. Gasket was about £2 or £3, and that's all there was. There's no damage elsewhere in the engine. Nothing else was integrity was taken. So yeah, brand new crank, new gasket, about £90 all in. Back out the door again.
All right.
I can't do that.
That's not always possible, is it? You can't. Sometimes you look up a crank and Briggs just want far too much money for a crank.
Yeah, that's actually the problem.
That's the issue.
In fact, push motors don't come into shops like mine, and when they do, they don't have oil in them.
Yeah.
Because here in the States, Briggs and Stratton released a thing that you don't have to change the oil in your push motors.
Yeah. Some over here.
So, it seems like they come in. There's not even oil on the dipstick. So, most of them that we look at, if there's no oil on the dipstick, I don't even unload it on a push mower.
Yeah.
Because if I do fix it, it ain't gonna last long. What's the point?
I understand. Yeah, no, I understand. I get it.
I always stick. I'm up to 3 weeks out.
Really?
Why bother with something that's crap?
Doug, I'm not saying your live stream isn't very interesting, but someone's now not taking much of an opinion of it.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah,
He's
I'm having a kid.
Yeah, he's finally slowed down.
Yeah, he slowed down. It's midday. He's done. I'm out. He's tapping out for 2 hours.
Take a nap.
Yeah, can't take a nap.
I need to start doing a midday nap. Maybe that'd be nice.
Riley has to. He has a quite a rare syndrome where his body clock is flipped. So he's been awake. What time did he wake up this morning? 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock this morning. He wakes up nearly every morning. 2 o'clock a.m.
Lord have mercy.
So that's just the way he's wired up. So yeah, about midday is his natural night time at midday in the morning. At midday. So
Right.
this is his night time. He's kipping.
He usually lays back down at night too, don't he?
Say again.
He usually lays back down at night too, don't he?
He sleeps from 6 p.m. to about 2 o'clock in the morning with the help of medication. I mean, anything after 2 a.m. That's when his day starts. That's when he's awake. Every day. And you wonder why I look so good sometimes.
He'd be good on a third shift.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick him on the railway, Doug. He can come work with me.
There you go. There you go. There you go. That'll work.
Yep.
So how's your shop hanging in there, Mick?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm already thinking about upgrading already.
Are you?
Yeah, all it is, Doug, is just headroom. I'm 6'2", so I need a bit more headroom. Right. It's definitely big enough. It just ain't tall enough. So I might look at next year's finances from the mowers and what have you, and I might invest in a slightly larger summer house. One with an office one end and a workshop the other, sort of thing, and it's okay. It's fully functional. It's working. It's doing its thing. It's just cheaply made for what it was. It was, what was it, £800 pounds, I think, about £800, which is for a 10 by 20 workshop, is relatively cheap over here. So it's okay. It'll do the job. Ideally, I like something like what you've got, but over here, that's serious money over here. Yet it's the same materials, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at my shop, 12 by 24s, right around $5,000.
Yeah, I'm looking at between 5 and 7 for a 15 by 30. Which has got 2 double doors and an office one end. So I'm looking into that, but I'm in no rush. I'm enjoying myself, just doing YouTube videos, chilling out, kicking out, and
yeah,
all of that. I'm enjoying myself.
That's the thing, we were talking the other day. When it stops having fun, you stop having fun doing YouTube, it's time to get out of it.
Yeah, I think as long as you got quite thick skin, you're open to criticism as long as people are talking sensible, which half of them don't. Yeah, just enjoy yourself. I'm enjoying it. I've had fun. I met some really good people. They're not too bad in Alabama. That's about my breaking point.
I think a lot of the issues, some people are trying to make a living at it, and you're going to get disheartened if that's the case.
Yeah, I don't look to make a living out of it. You know what I mean?
I got a job. I'm not looking at it.
I'm exactly the same. You know, hell, you know, but if YouTube want to pay me, you know, X amount of money to make a living out, I'll do that. But I think they just make the goals unachievable, and they only promote what they want to promote anyway. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's another platform, and I can't remember what it was. Uh, they pay automatically. First video up, they start paying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Twitch.
Well, Twitch is one of them, and there's another one too, but I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember. TikTok is just mostly, you know.
Doug, you're not on
Twitch,
TikTok, are you?
huh?
You're not on. Are you not a TikToker, Doug? Are you?
No, my wife is. God,
Yeah, I bet you sit out there with your string vest on, giving it all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, Doug.
Where you all good noise now? All right, let's go.
I don't think they make any money on TikTok, though, do they?
I don't think
No.
so.
Let's go do it. Yeah.
I know there was something about TikTok is giving away people's information or something. I read that.
TikTok is recording your information for the country of China. All your pictures get transferred and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, here.
And
Really?
China being a free speech sort of country, you know what's going to happen with that, right?
Yeah.
Basically, China's apparently they're claiming they're actually using it to spy on other countries. Well, they'll take
I believe
pictures,
it.
your pictures from your camera, and use it for
Okay.
espionage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you saying Doug Sweener could very soon be on some big billboard doing a TikTok thing or some big LED billboard?
Definitely could happen. Never can tell.
Is David up on the panel? I can't see him.
Yeah, he's back. He's in his shop right now.
There you
Yeah, I
go.
can't see him. My internet's playing up here. Right, Doug, I'm going to tap out, Doug, because my internet's playing up.
All right, buddy. You have yourself a good one. Be careful. Bye, Mrs. P.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Have a good one, bud. Oh, Willie C.K.'s there. Munster.
I think Yoda, it is against the rules to use TikTok for the military.
Is that right?
Yeah, because of the spying, I don't think you're allowed to have TikTok in the military. In fact, I think Donald Trump's saying he's going to ban it, which I'm not sure how that's going to happen. But not that I'm actually against it. I'm just not sure that he has the authority to do so. You know, I think he's going to run into some legal hurdles banning a phone app.
More and more closer to November.
Military, though.
More and more closer to November, boy. They're starting to bring out the knives and everything. The politicians, you know.
This is going to be the nastiest election I think we've ever seen.
I believe so. I really do believe so.
And on both sides too. It ain't going to be just, you know, we're all going to pick on the opposing team, but they're both going to be nasty.
And I think on the Democratic side, it's going to be real nasty here shortly. I mean, real nasty.
They technically running against Trump. Do they have a choice?
I doubt it.
Trump's going to be there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any way around it. Technically, just look at the fight that they've had, you know. Trump's claiming that the Democrats have spied on his campaign and come up with all this stuff. Some of it true, some of it not even close to true.
Yeah.
Hell, yesterday he refused to say Kamala Harris was qualified to be president.
Yeah.
As far as legally, not, we can all
Mhm.
debate that she's not qualified, but she was born in the United States. She's qualified,
Yeah. Not like Obama was,
Obama was actually qualified anyway. That was legally. His mother was a U.S. citizen, therefore he would have been a U.S. citizen if he had been born overseas. So that makes it a moot point.
Mhm.
Legally, he was a U.S. citizen by birth because his mother was. Same as
His
actually
mother.
McCain. John McCain wasn't born in the United States.
No.
Believe it or not. He was born, I forgot what country, but his mother was a U.S. citizen, making him a U.S. citizen. And John McCain's parents were in the military, so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
a little different situation. I'm not, and I think we probably should openly discuss whether or not that should be true. I think that's legit. In fact, in Kamala Harris's case, I don't think either her parents were U.S. citizens, but she was born here. I think we should, whether or not that should be true should be up for debate. But the fact is, it is true according to our laws. And instead of debating the laws, we always say, "Oh, well, they're not qualified because we don't want them to be." I don't think Obama was our best president, but I don't get to change the law to say he's not qualified on birthright.
Mhm.
That's the way I look at it.
I believe that too, Yoda. I believe Arnold Schwarzenegger would have been a good president.
I actually think it probably could have been changed for him, but I think that would be a bad precedent as
Mm.
far as allowing him to be president.
Mhm.
Because, yeah, it's kind of like some of the things I think Donald Trump did that I think is going to be a bad precedent when somebody else does it. I think we are going to see some things go really bad to what he's done already. And not the stuff he did, it's just he set a bad precedent. Some of these executive orders are way over the line. And what happens when the next guy does it? Does something that over the top, just or similar but different,
Monster, I ain't seen no videos of that yet. Man, that Top Tractor Challenge.
Top Tractor Challenge. What's that one?
A guy in the mud mower community,
Mm-hmm.
Red02, has a competition going on. Goes on every year,
Mm-hmm.
twice this year so far, and it's taking a mower and run it through a top tractor challenge, hill climbing, rock crawling, mud bogging, all
Mm-hmm.
It's like the off road 4x4 tank trap, and stuff like that they used to watch on videos,
Yeah,
something
we
like
used to do
that.
it here. We had mud bog challenges around here. That just kind of fell out of favor, I guess. I don't see much anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, I ain't seen the videos of them in a long time. Oh, okay, Munster. lets out tons of smoke. Check, is it OHV? If it's a OHV mower, it's probably got a blown head gasket.
Well, it also depends the color of the smoke.
Yeah,
Where to look.
black or white, you know.
And I wouldn't start with the head gasket before I checked it, but
White, it's white smoke. It's probably a head gasket. But you could do like we were talking about earlier. You could do a leak down test. And you'd be able to tell right off the bat if it's a blown head gasket in between the oil galley and the piston wall, because you'll hear it right out of the dipstick hole.
dipstick hole could also be rings.
Yeah.
Your best bet on a head gasket would be to pop the valve cover, and you'll actually hear it whistle where the valves are, or the push rods are.
Out through the galley of the valve runner.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll whistle there. Is your best bet. Also, a lot of times you can actually hear it puff if you unplug the fuel anti-backfire solenoid,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of people, I guess, do cut off. That's what some people call the fuel shutoff there, but it's actually
Right.
for anti-backfire. If you unplug that to where it seals the fuel off on the carburetor, what you'll actually hear it puff. Sometimes that's the easiest way to tell a blown head gasket. You can hear
Mm-hmm.
it a lot quicker than doing a leak down on it. Because on a leak down, you got to find top dead center, which again is easier if you pop the valve cover.
Yeah.
Make sure all the valves
Yeah.
are sealed.
I got flipped upside down. It should clear itself out when you fire it back up.
Oh, it got flipped and it did that? Now,
Yeah.
that's going to smoke for, what happened there probably was you got oil going through the breather.
Yeah.
Your breather's going to have oil vapor for a little while. It'll clean up
Mhm.
in maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
It should clear itself back out when you get it back over on the standing on all four.
That's actually normal for it to smoke a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's just like a car, truck, whatever. When you flip them upside down, you have to wait a little bit, let the oil drain back down in the bottom, then fire it up.
On a lawnmower, though, especially on the newer ones, they run a sponge setup. It'll go through the carburetor no matter what, even if you don't let it settle back down.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to soak in that sponge and it'll suck it through the carburetor.
I noticed too, if you lean it over to the muffler side, away from the carburetor, it'll leak into the muffler, leak through. It'll smoke too.
Yeah, the sponge will actually stay soaked in oil, and it'll actually burn a little bit extra. That's where some of your smoke's coming from, is it's pulling that vapor through. Most of it probably was already in the carburetor and coated all that. Your truck backfiring, I'm not as familiar with trucks, but it could be a similar thing if it's a carbureted, because you're probably idling your truck before you shut it off, which could theoretically backfire from sucking the fuel in. Ethanol will coat your intake. That's why they put those anti-backfire solenoids on, and why they tell you to shut off your small engine at full throttle. If you're running at idle, what it will do is it'll pull the ethanol in at the last second, and that's where your backfire is coming from. That little electric fuel shut off on your carburetor, that's what that's for. It slams your fuel shut, or your carburetor shut, to where it sucks all the ethanol in and burns it without burning it on a hot cylinder.
Okay.
Because the ethanol will ignite on your cylinder walls. It'll also pin to push rod. So
This thing here, sometimes when I go to fire it up, the one I've been having problems with after putting a new carburetor on, when you go to fire it up, she'll backfire through the exhaust.
real loud.
Yeah, like a gunshot off.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, have you checked your flywheel key?
No, I haven't.
I would start there.
Okay.
Make sure that's not sheared.
Yeah.
If it's doing it on startup,
Yeah.
that's more likely the case than.
That could be the reason why she sounds like she's backfiring through the exhaust while she's running.
Yeah, the timing's a bit off.
Mm-hmm.
It can be coil, but the fact that coil will typically do it when it runs for a while.
Yeah.
Different scenario. I would start by looking at your flywheel key.
Okay.
Because coil is going to be difficult to test. For that scenario, what you'd have to use is set up a timing light, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
There's other ways of doing it, but more or less for timing on a coil, which does happen. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
You'd have to use a timing light to tell. Which I guess timing lights are getting hard to come by. So a lot of guys don't use.
I ain't seen one in years, man.
I know. I keep. My father and I are sharing one. In fact, right now I don't have one, but you don't use them all that often in small engines. I keep looking for a cheap Snap-on one.
Yeah, good luck.
If I wait around long enough, I'll find one because they've got no real value, I don't think, in automotive anymore.
No, not with crank sensors they got now on them and everything.
In small engines, you actually use, or the crank sensors, another thing we ought to use a timing light for. So I think if they truly knew what they were doing, you could use a timing light on crank sensors.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think also on a car, you've got a computer that kind of tells you that information. So maybe the difference. Our computers aren't as advanced for our fuel injected as cars are. We have to actually
there's Zippo.
tell what that is.
So how would you do it on a small engine? Would you make a mark on it right there at the magnets or what?
Yep. Basically, same way you would the old cars.
Okay.
You know? Does exact same setup. Use them on dwell. I've never used a dwell tack for that, but theoretically, I guess it would work. You could probably use a dwell tack for testing to see if it's off. I just never done it that way.
I haven't seen a dwell tack in years.
Well, I still have one.
Dad used to have one when he used to set the points in the vehicle.
That's actually what I have it for, but I would think you could actually use it for, in theory. I got it for points. It's basically an old one.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, I would think.
Well, you got a positive and negative side, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would work. I don't know. I've always
You get a
just used
spring.
timing light.
You get a spring light, so you'll go over the tip of the spark plug, and go up inside it. That'd be your positive side, and the ground side, just ground it off to a nut.
Yeah, I never actually thought of it that way, but I would think a timing light would be easier if you got one now. And a
Mhm.
timing light would be easier to find than a dwell meter. I mean, hell, I've never even seen one in a toolbox outside of the one I got.
I think my old man had one just like the one you got. I think he had one. Geez, I think he threw it away many years ago.
I actually think for some reason, like Briggs or Kohler sold these.
Really?
Well, yeah. This thing's been around our shop, and Dad seemed to think it came from like Kohler. So, it's been, I said, Dad gave it to me when he gave up doing points, and I don't do points anymore because I haven't done a point setup in 10 years, and again, it's one of those things where you don't make any money at it. You end up finding other parts, and they become money pits.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up with like a $300 bill on a mower that's the guy says is not worth $300.
Yeah.
So,
Then you end up owning it. You know.
yeah. Basically, you just it ends up being a non-profit job, and my overhead's too high to be doing stuff that's that likely to be non-profit.
Where mostly you get your parts from? Is it OEM parts or do you shop sometimes?
I've been in business long enough. I've got some right to shop, but most of the stuff, unfortunately, with their contracts, end up being a lot of OEM.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also barring like Oregon Rotary, I'm not a big fan of Stins. I think most of that stuff's crap. A lot of the stuff is really subpar, and what happens is when you're doing it at a shop where I like at my level, customers will complain if you're running subpar parts.
Right.
We get a lot more comebacks where I fixed a carburetor and suddenly electric clutch blows up, and they seem to think it's my fault. In fact, I got one where I put a new push rod in an engine, and the governor gear went out.
Mm-hmm.
50 hours later. Well, I should have seen the governor gear apparently. You know, he's
How
telling me
how in the world are you going to see a governor gear? You know what I mean?
yeah, you're not gonna. I didn't open it up that much to do the job, so you know, I didn't know that. And besides, it was running fine when it left here.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't really use stuff we know is subpar as easy as a guy that's working out of his backyard, because you can go tell him to go to hell. You're not going to get bad Google reviews and all that sort of thing. Like what we will. You know?
Right. Right.
And people will call and try to get us canceled. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm the only Briggs guy for like 40 miles that still has
Is that right?
certifications. Because they will cancel dealers if they get enough complaints. Some of them deserved it. Some of them didn't. I mean, the guy that used to do like 5 or 6 warranties if a guy came in off of like a head gasket, by the time he was done, he'd have like 4 warranties done on it because he'd screw them all up and do more damage than good. He probably deserved his Briggs warranty authorization certifications yanked because he was a shitty mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
But and there's a few that are rip-off artists, I'll agree, around here. Not everywhere, I bet. But the good ones still get nailed for too many complaints if they run subpar parts. But they kind of forced us into it. And MTD, like if you're a Cub Cadet dealer, you're not allowed to sell any aftermarket parts at all.
Really?
Yeah, it's in your contract.
Hmm.
So that kind of sucks.
What do you think about these new the new Club Cadet MTD chassis?
I wouldn't own one.
I wouldn't own one either.
I wouldn't own one of the new Cub Zeros. I mean, they're bad. That bent tubing one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're bad news. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, my uncle, he's got one. I said, you know, the reviews on this mower here ain't very good. They're complaining about the decks vibrating so bad. I said,
Yeah.
see, that joker, the idling pulleys are just sitting there, just jumping all over the place. You know what I mean? And the deck is just wiggling, wobbling everywhere. So I said, see what I mean?
Yeah, there's something out of balance on those things. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is, but they're bad news.
I told him, I said, I believe what you need to do is still underneath warranty, you know? And he got it from Tractor Supply. And I said, I believe you're going to have to go get this thing warranted because that thing should not vibrate like that.
The problem with some of that stuff is they're not wanting to cover the warranties.
Mm-hmm.
So the dealer's not going to do much about it. They're
Right.
a lot of the stuff sold to box stores now. Bad Boy did it. That's why I'm not a Bad Boy dealer anymore. They'll tell the customer that it's warranted, and then when they get to the dealer, they'll tell the dealer it's not.
Right.
Which puts the dealers in really bad positions. Everybody thinks the dealer's trying to rip them off, and the problem is they're between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Yep. We know the customer's getting told because we call in and pretend to be a customer, and they'll tell us the same thing. But when the vendors won't pay for it, and it's kind of hard to donate the parts and the labor on stuff you didn't sell.
Right. Right. I you know, like I told him, I said, you know, the Toro's got better reviews than
The
this
Toro
Club Cadet.
is going to go bad too. That new Toro frame that they
Mhm.
got, that's going to go really bad. Especially that new suspension one.
Yeah.
They have plastic components holding a suspension system up.
Really.
Leave that out in the sun for a little while.
Oh, it's going to dry rot like you wouldn't believe. Man, those
Yeah.
things are just going to get brittle as anything.
Yep. So it's not going to, even if you don't leave it out, it'll do it sooner or later. But
Mm-hmm.
I'd say within 2 years, you're going to see some of that Toro stuff fail.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, if you're not buying it from a dealer on a lawnmower, realistically, you're probably looking for bad news. Because they're not with the warranty issues. But the engine didn't act up before then, Zippo. That's the problem. It was running perfect. The governor blew. It had full throttle control. In fact, it's actually not gone yet, but you could tell it's about to.
Oh, really?
And the customer paid attention, and he's like, "Well, I don't have any or that great a throttle response." And he pulls it in, and yeah, it's going. I'm gonna have to pull down and pull it apart. It's not. I'm not doing it for free because I didn't. He's gonna have to pay for it because I didn't do anything as far as to damage his governor.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that keyway today on that motor.
I'm leaning towards that one. What did it do before you on the carburetor? Was it backfiring?
I don't know. When I picked it up and it was gave to me, it wasn't running. So, and I don't know. I met this lady back months ago in Walmart, and she was looking at the new um Murray mowers, and what they got in Walmart, you
Yeah.
know. And I said, I wouldn't buy them, lady. They're junk, you know.
Yeah,
And
I'm going through trying to warranty one right now.
and so she ended up calling me a couple times, and I guess somebody got into the carburetor before I got it, and she ended up buying a new Troy built, another bad one not to buy, you know.
Technically, if it's a tractor, they're all about the same bad quality. I personally like Husqvarna just strictly because of parts pricing,
Right.
and I don't think any of them are that much better than the others. Personally, I'd say I'd recommend a Poland. Although Husqvarna has not produced a tractor in the United States in over a year, which does make me wonder if they've stopped. So, because all the tractors used to come out of like North Carolina, and that facility is shut down. So I'm not sure where they're getting them from, or if they're old, because I haven't been looking around. But they may be out of the market. It may, back by the end of the year, it may just be MTD making a
Yeah.
tractor.
Yeah.
Because
Because AYP ain't making none. I haven't seen one at all. Um, which that I believe that's one of the better. Husqvarna. And it's one of the better made tractors, I believe. You know.
Basically, Snapper Simplicity is still making a tractor, but Briggs is going through bankruptcy. We don't know if they're going to come out or not. Most likely they will. They do have an offer on the table for like $460 million.
Really?
So more likely they're going to come through it and essentially just screw over the investors and people who they owe money to. But they were trying to shed themselves of Snapper, Simplicity, Ferris before the bankruptcy. I'm sure that's not going to likely to change after the bankruptcy, that they want to shed it. I would say that if there's a shot that it's literally going to be MTD, and Stanley's in the process of buying MTD, so we don't even know what's going to happen with that totally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they bought 30% last year with the option to buy the rest.
Really?
So I fully expect MTD will be owned by Stanley Tools.
Well, you're right, Doug. Yoda Doug. Stanley had one out years ago.
Stanley leased their name on that one.
Did
They
they?
actually never built it. Some of them were AYP for a little while, and then they had some Chinese name lease the name. It's kind of like Yamaha never built an engine.
Yeah.
They just leased their name. I'm trying to think. Subaru, same deal. Somebody leased the name Subaru. They just rented out the name, and they produced a Subaru engine.
Yeah.
The only thing that they got was a royalty for the name. Same with Yamaha still being done. I think Bad Boy runs Yamaha, and Gravely runs Yamaha. All it is a Chinese engine with the Yamaha name on it. Exmark runs the same engine. It's a piece of crap, but you don't go to China for quality.
Right.
I never go in Walmart, so I never have tried to chat or talk to people. I always feel bad trying to pick up customers at a place, but I also feel bad at customers that buy pieces of junk too.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, every once in a while I look at it like that's guaranteed money for me because the most money I could make is a guy running a Husqvarna tractor commercially cutting.
Right.
That is money. Because it's
You know,
not built.
I was talking to a friend of mine, pastor friend of mine. You know, he dabbles on the side, you know, retired and everything like that. He said he could buy all day long blown up Husqvarna tractors all day long, and they got the Kohler Coolidge in them. He says you wouldn't believe how many I could buy blown up Kohler Coolidge on them things.
Single cylinder where they crack the block.
Yeah.
You get those all day long. MTD's putting them back on. I don't know where the hell they got them. You can find them at Lowe's, or not Lowe's, Home Depot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually find the brand new MTD with a Kohler Courage on it.
They're
Single
junk.
cylinder.
They are junk motors.
Yeah. Mechanically, it was a stroke of genius until the bean counters got hold of it.
Yeah.
You could rebuild a Kohler Courage without ever pulling the engine.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, they never used a torque wrench to install it. They thinned the block out to where she was so thin it'd crack easy.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't torque the bolts for the counterbalance, which wore on the shaft, causing them to shake.
Yep.
So
now I've seen the bolts back themselves right back out and hit the bottom of the flywheel and snap the bolt clean off from them.
Yep. Then you got to drill it out. And
yep.
Most time anymore, I don't do it because what's the point? It's only going to last a couple more hours.
Yeah, really.
You know? Yeah, I almost dread when they come in. So I actually won't. Once it hits the flywheel or I hear a tapping noise, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because I could get it out, but then when it blows up in 100 hours, people are back in. Well, it didn't last that long.
I got it.
That or when they shake. If it slams over to the right and the entire motor is shaking from the slam from the Kohler Courage, once it starts that rattle to death, walk away. Don't even service the thing. Just leave the oil in, and it ain't gonna last that long anyway.
Yeah, I was given a block, a Kohler Courage block. It was given to me, and I tore it down to see what happened. You know what I mean? And it blew the rod, and when it blew the rod, it went out through the bottom of the pan, and it just poked a hole straight through the pan. And I said, well, maybe I could rebuild it, you know, until I got looking at the crank, and the crank was badly scored, and I said, forget it. I ain't gonna spend the money. I ain't gonna spend the money on the bottom half. I'm not gonna spend the money on the rod.
Was it a twin or a single?
Single.
Where you would have found the failure point was on the counterbalance.
Mm-hmm.
You would have actually found that had gotten loose and it been scored there.
Mm-hmm.
If you looked at it. Most people never look at the counterbalance because 9 chances out of 10 is never the issue. I never would have paid attention to the counterbalance other than the fact that I knew it was an issue under the Kohler Courage. Apparently the bolts loosened up and they would rock, and pretty quickly they wear on the shaft.
Right.
That's where your slamming essentially started. Is that Zippo or
Morning, sir. I think Chris might have froze up.
Or to open the front door because I haven't heard my wife moving yet.
Yeah.
That's why I was able to stay as late as I was the last time you streamed.
Oh, really?
The wife, she runs the front, answers the phone.
Right.
And sells parts and mowers. I do the back. I work on all the stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah, at least you ain't got to deal with the customers.
I still have to deal with customers because a lot of people pull up to the back door, and I do some mower sales because some people won't deal with a woman.
Uh-huh.
I still have to do some of it. And there's also, she doesn't know as much about the stuff as I do. She does come back, tear down engine. She is competent as a mechanic. But let's be realistic. I've been in this industry since the at least full-time into the early 90s. I'm going to know more than she is when she's been in this industry for 10 years. You know? So she'll still
I brought you up.
like,
I brought you up, Chris, and it froze up on me. See, Hot Rod there, I guess his dad used to own a small engine shop, and he was brought up in it.
that's kind of where I came from.
Yeah.
Left the family business for 2 years and then came back.
Mm-hmm.
Worked someplace else most of that time, but there were pretty much 2 years I didn't do anything with it. I only worked a couple days a week.
Right. Right.
Because for a couple of years I lived in Chicago. And I only worked 3 days a week as a robotics engineer up there.
Right.
But I didn't always every week come home and work the other 4 for Dad because it was a 12-hour job.
Yep.
I was young and dumb, so I did it every once in a while, but not every week. But I worked on them. If you wanted to eat, you worked in the family business.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it was.
Yeah, when my dad had his little backyard shop, and he wasn't working, he was just doing odd jobs, you know what I mean? And shoot, I used to go on out there when I was a teenager and help him out,
Ours started that way when I was a child, as a backyard shop. I think every shop starts that way, or most.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I was, I would say 13, we were a mower dealership, a zero-turn dealership. Before I was 15. So we were a Briggs dealership. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. I was the one that passed the Briggs dealership exam to get us a first level in 1991. Was when I first got Briggs certified.
Uh-huh.
So that would have been when we became Briggs dealers. I got the certificate still. I would say we were a dealership before then for Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I'm thinking I might have been 8 or 9 when he got the Dixon dealership. Because at the time you could be a tier 2 Briggs dealer. You didn't have to go to the factory schools.
Yeah.
He started in the 70s though. That's why one of the things I'm proud of owning is they used to make those flywheel holders in brass.
My dad has one of them. And I can't find that son of a gun nowhere.
Couldn't find it, you said?
Yeah, I don't know what my dad ever done with it.
The brass ones are so rare, they started making them out of aluminum.
Yep. My dad had aluminum one.
If he was old enough in the trade, he probably would have had a brass one somewhere.
Maybe he did. You know what I mean? And the one I used to see he used to have was that one, the aluminum one.
This one here is the brass ones are rare. They stopped making them sometime in the 80s, I think.
Really?
But this one's solid brass. That one's rare.
Yeah.
I bought an aluminum one if I ever used it. It's in one of the drawers around here.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, I don't use these that often. But,
no.
The brass one is going to be hanging on my wall because that's Dad's original.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but that one was one of the things I was proud of. That and my I took it out to take photos of it. It's outside. The seal kit. You ever get to where you can buy one of these sets? Buy it. Your seals will go in so much better. These seal kits from Briggs, sleeves.
Yeah.
These go over the crankshaft for a bottom oil seal.
Right.
This allows you to install it without tearing the lip up of them.
Okay.
You can't buy them anymore. But I think it's part number like 19356. These are really old. They definitely improve your work. A lot of guys will have
Zippo's got 2 of them brass ones.
Oh, the brass flywheel holders?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably love to get a hold of a second one, but it's kind of nice to have that one hanging because most of them I see are aluminum.
Hey, String Bang.
Some ways I'd love to get a hold of a brass one to use one of these days if I ever see one. That way I can take that one into my office.
Is that one of your logo shirts that you got on?
No, this is a Briggs shirt they gave me. I'll change it to my WNF shirt when I leave. Typically, the only shirts you ever see me wear are free shirts that some company gave me. This is a Briggs Master Mechanic shirt. They'll give you a free, I think it's like $30 worth of stuff every year when you take your certification update. And this hat here came from one of those updates, but the hats are like $30, so I don't get too many of them. These shirts I give you for like $5, so when you get one, you'll essentially get around 5 or 6 by the time it's all said and done.
You ever been to any of those expos that they have with the new machines coming out?
Every year, but I've missed a couple.
I'd love to go to one. I'd love to go to one up there in Louisville.
It's not what it used to be. That it's kind of a depressing thing now. It's It used to. It was huge. They had all kinds of stuff. You could drive any mower. But after the guy rammed the Zero into the side of the Lamborghini, and the guy got seriously injured by ramping the Toro Zero off the hill, rolling it and almost killing himself.
God almighty.
Calmed it down because of stupid idiots. Now, granted, the guy that owned, which Gizmo's had a business, but the guy that owned it running the Zero turns around a Lamborghini, circles around the outer Lamborghini with nothing to protect the Lamborghini, was kind of a stupid idea.
Yeah.
That wasn't the brightest, but at one time the show, you actually had engine classes going where you could actually go into working shops. They had lifts that you could play with, lawnmower lifts. They had anything and everything. I mean, Kohler used to have the entire engine where you could disassemble it.
Really?
Look at every individual component of it. Briggs used to have every service manual for free at the.
Oh man.
It's a shame I only have one full set now, but every printed service manual you can get for free. It was awesome back in the day. Briggs used to give you master certification pins just for going to their their booth at the expo.
Really? Zippo said one of the legs got cut off on that flywheel holder.
What? Which one? On mine?
No, on his.
On Zippo's?
Yeah.
That sucks. I haven't used one of those. Used to use it all the time, but now that you don't remove the clutches like you used to, you don't really.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have the clutch on it. The recoil clutch. They ain't got them on it no more. And Dad used to use them for the horizontal motors too.
Yeah, and technically, you're probably right. A lot of the brass ones got melted down and thrown in the scrap heap. Nobody knew what they were. And I've got one cut short. I've also got, which I find more useful, I made a couple tools mounted to the bottom of the crankshafts to hold the engine for different tasks. If you're running a high pressure leak down on a big engine, it's really nice to be able to lock that crank. So we put one where you could actually extend a rod out and lock it up against the side of the tire, or
Right.
Lock up against something to where that crank ain't gonna move.
Right. Especially on a leak down.
Yeah. Most of the time you can actually tell before a high pressure one, but there's some times that you can. That's why I like the Stanley or Proto leak down tester, or Mac version, because you can actually run a lower pressure leak down, because some of these Chinese ones will blow the damn thing with the leak down tester.
Yeah.
You can actually blow the head gasket with it. So, and the Briggs single cylinder overhead valve, I've seen where I think the leak downs have blown them.
How much pressure do they actually take? Probably no more than probably 10 pounds, wouldn't it? Or 5?
It should take more than that, but I don't even know what pressure they put out. I've never checked. I wonder if mine says. It has got a gauge on it. Let's see. Looks like most of them are going to run around 90 psi for a full leak down. The way that my gauges read. Now it should hold it, but as I said, I've had some that I'd swear the leak down did the damage. And maybe it's just thought, but I kind of like running them at a little, somewhere around 40 to 50 psi. Typically where I run them.
Because I was thinking about making me up one.
Technically, there's not much to it.
No, technically it ain't. You know what I mean? You can put a little valve at the end of it, and hook your air line to it. Pop it a couple times.
Essentially, you could actually put a gauge on each side, a regulator, then a valve, then a gauge.
Right.
And you can actually run a leak down off of it.
Yeah.
The problem is you could buy a leak down tester for like $25. So by the time you actually, if you catch these Stanleys right, you can get one. I think I paid $50 for mine. So it's really worth the effort.
Well, the time when you get the regulator, all the fitting, you know what I mean?
I bought this one I think for $50, and I'm not sure I could build it for that. Now, if I was taking the Snap-on, yeah, I could build it for that.
Right.
There's a lot of tools though that are cheaper. I mean, just like if you bought the Echo version of this carb tool, I think it's like $300 or $400. You can find these for about 50 to 100, I think.
Yeah.
I bought mine years ago, obviously, but this is old, but still. I don't think these are the Mighty Vac version's that expensive for the pressure tester for that. I think you can even buy like that those valve grinder or cutters that I've got relatively inexpensive if you look. and you buy Chinese.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you buy Chinese, I think you could buy them a lot cheaper. You know, because I've seen them. I've seen them. You know.
Hey, SB, I just brought up the chat. Most of the tools you can buy cheap. Hell, most of my tools are used. We had 2 shops, so a lot of when I opened this one 10 years ago, I had to start buying tools again.
Yeah.
And most of my stuff is used. I mean, I did buy some of the original Kohler authorized tools, but we had the full collection of cars from Briggs. So when they came in and saw that, because I mean, apparently the only dealership that they know of in the entire U.S. with the full collection of them, every one of them, they took photos of that and left and let me have Briggs.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to buy the initial order, didn't have to do nothing.
Wow.
They said, "Oh well, you've been a dealer for long enough. That's fine," and let me leave and just left.
Right.
For our second location. And now it probably also helped that one of our original Briggs sales reps was an executive at Briggs. And he knew, so we knew his boss's 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 boss. Yeah, and that actually even helped us with Kohler. One of our original Kohler reps is president of Gardner. So that kind of, I think, helped a little bit.
Right.
Even though Gardner wasn't our distributor, Gardner is one of the larger distributors out there. And the fact that we knew him kind of, I think, paved the way for Kohler without some of the initial order. But I wanted all the tools, and they still had the useful toolkits.
Right.
I bought those. And plus, we were bigger in Kohler than Briggs.
Right.
Briggs tools went to crap in the early 90s.
Did they really?
Yeah, they just stopped really producing good tools. I mean, literally, my toolkit, my specialty Briggs drawer, it's full, but very little useful. Very little used out of the tools.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have the good stuff Dad's got. The only,
I mean, my dad even had the little piece that you put over top the crank to whack it to pop the flywheel up.
We talking about the knocker?
Yeah. The little brass knocker.
Oh, I didn't have a brass knocker. I had I don't even know where my damn knockers are. And we used to have a brass one of these. Or clutch tools. But I don't know what happened or where that is. Most of my knockers were hell, I don't even know. I don't even know where they are. I know where they are. They're in my junk drawer for stuff for sale because I haven't used the knockers for years. But I know what happened to those. Now, Dad's I'll keep, but I bought another dealership out for tools.
Oh, really?
It was cheaper. I mean, and some of the stuff wasn't available anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought you can't seem to get these good carburetor adjustment tools. The aluminum, the ones with the metal pieces and that don't break all the time.
Right.
You get those cheap damn Amazon ones, but you can't get the good ones. It seems like anymore. So I wanted those because I was used to it. I want the metal handle ones, which now you got to sign your damn life away to get one because they're actually illegal to sell. Believe it or not. So I have to prove that I went to the school on that carburetor to buy that tool.
Is that right?
Legally, and I cannot sell it to you. Now I can go to Amazon and I can buy the entire kit, and I don't have to fill out 3 sheets.
Right.
So I buy my kits off of Amazon.
Yeah.
It's a $10,000 fine if I sell at my dealership if I sell you a carburetor adjustment. So, and you turn me in.
Huh.
The kicker is, if you turn me in, you get part of the fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm not stupid enough to sell you a tool. Did you get
I've
like
seen
thousands?
I seen the carburetor tuning kit on Amazon,
Mhm.
and I was thinking about getting a set of it. You know. Everything.
If you halfway want one, sooner or later, I actually think they're going to crack down on them too.
Well, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, even on your two strokes, you're fixing, you know, to be coming out with fuel injection. You know what I mean?
They have for a couple of years. Zama's got a fuel injection system. Steel has their own fuel injection system, as does Husqvarna.
Mhm.
But I think that's going to be more of a headache because dealers are going away from two-stroke.
Yeah.
It's kind of going to be like that Cub Cadet one where nobody's got the cable
Yeah.
or the software for it, because no dealer is going to invest $200 into a piece of junk Chinese fuel injected system right now. And so I think it's going to be like that. You know, no dealer is going to have the tools to fix it.
Mhm.
And you're going to end up with nothing but a headache. Because a repair on one of those isn't going to pay you $200, so why bother if you didn't sell it?
Right.
I
Right.
mean, this. What the heck happened to my kit? Oh, here it is. These Bluetooth modules for my Kawasaki's in my drawer because I just bought it. But these Bluetooth modules aren't cheap to hook up to the fuel injected systems.
Yeah.
I think that one's like $400 for this one.
Jeez.
It just
You got to do a lot of work for $400.
Huh?
You're gonna have to do a lot of work for $400.
Yeah, I mean, and then you got to buy software updates every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're just as much into the stuff as cars. Technically, the biggest difference in mowers is we have to go bigger on bolts, bigger on torque than your standard automotive guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to have standard and metric, realistically. Plus, they got to be able to do two-stroke, four-stroke diesel, and fuel-injected carbureted.
Yeah. Hot Rod said after his dad passed and got out of the mower business, too many shop memories, and started carry CNC machine. So I fix stuff for my friends, you know, and flip, you know.
He does CNC work then, or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he does. He does. He works at a machine shop.
I don't blame him. There's not a ton of money in it anyway, really. Not. If you're doing beer money, if you actually add up your time, people are putting in more than what they think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Most cases.
Yeah, I mean, even, you know, a friend of mine, he told me, he says, Doug, you ought to get into just buying and selling, you know, buy them, fix them up, sell them, buy them, fix them up, sell them. I said, man,
comes from like Musty One.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's realistic for most people. He must be in some sweet spot to where he's getting that stuff, because you watch his channel, everything's fixed for $20. And that's not realistic. That's not going to happen for most of the country. He's got to be in some ritzy area. My wife's family's in an area like that. Her dad can pick up a lawnmower every day, and all that's wrong with it's carburetor.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I mean, you're not going to drive down like down here. You're not going to drive down these little back roads and these subdivisions and find free stuff on the side of the curb. You're not going to find that down here, you know?
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't think that, and I also suspect that he's not showing the bad stuff. You know, I think that he's got stuff that he hasn't fixed. He just doesn't upload videos on that stuff.
Yeah.
Because you could fix anything. Don't get me wrong. I could fix the stuff that I tell people I'm not fixing. I can fix it.
Right.
It's just I can't fix it in time to where I can make money at it, or they can't replace it cheaper.
Right.
You know? That's the problem. I can repair pretty much anything. It just not for their price.
Hot Rod says, but I have about every manual and shop tools when his dad passed away.
Yeah. Used to be expensive. I mean, Briggs was like $2,000 before you ever got anything useful.
Mm-hmm.
And that was years ago. It's probably more than that. Steel is $100,000 to get in. Husqvarna is like 10 to 15 is all. Oh no, now it's over 100 because you got zeros that you have to buy on Husky to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Cub Cadet's like 200,000. I mean, if you become a dealer, it ain't, your overhead's going up.
He just wrote in a comment now.
I saw the 100% true enough business to pay our bills. I didn't have overhead, but yeah, the overhead for a business, hell, the phone bill for once you actually open a commercial business.
Yeah.
Just telephones is $150 for my landline.
Really?
For you to walk in the door is like $4,000
Mm-hmm.
for walk-in customers. Is that based upon your volume? Your mowers, you make about 5%. You pay 3% in finance fees to finance them because most people don't pay check. So they're not that profitable anyway. But if you don't have them, you don't have a business. And you got to sell. The minimum order every year for a mower line is typically around 100,000.
Yeah.
Your major lines like Hustler. Bobcat didn't used to be there, but I expect next year they will with the paint change.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think.
Yeah. The dealer down here in town, he was a complete snapper dealer, and now I noticed that he has Ferris there too, with the snapper.
Ferris, was forced down. Anybody that had snapper, I think, became Ferris.
Okay.
Ferris is only the same company. Snapper, Ferris, Simplicity are owned by Briggs.
Okay.
So everybody that has one's got them all.
Mm-hmm.
On that. And if he was, the thing is, once you're in, they typically leave you alone. For example, I got in at Hustler with 75,000 initial investment, and now it's over 100,000 initial investment. So I think it's like 150,000 initial order.
Wow.
So if I don't meet the 150,000 for that year, I don't know that I would be canceled. But I couldn't sign up that way. Briggs used to be, somewhere around 3,000, but you had to buy $3,000 worth of bolts and nuts and stuff that you'd pull off used engines. Nothing useful. Really. Then you could buy your air filters and your stuff that would sell. That's actually where a lot of your dealers are marking stuff up so much because they have to cover the full crap that they. I think Briggs now isn't that bad. I think you have to spend at least like $5,000 a year after you're a dealer, or they won't sell you parts, and then they charge you so much per year for your training,
Mm-hmm.
which is online. They don't have update schools that I'm aware of anymore. Kohler, same deal, except they actually have update classes where you go personally and attend, not virtually.
Mm-hmm.
And Honda, same deal. They're virtual now. They're $75 a year for Honda classes, and you got to spend like, I think they're only like $300 or $400 a year.
Huh.
They're relatively cheap. Generac, I forgot what they are, but all that the background fees add up. You know, your software, your tool purchases,
Yeah.
your training classes. That stuff adds up.
Well, it's just like, being a mechanic, automobile mechanic. I mean, you got every year you got to go to class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything, and you got to buy the new tool, the new gauges, everything like that, in order to keep up with the trend.
And it's not, some of it's just absolutely not lose your dealership.
Yeah.
You have to do that. I mean, that's why I have that many toolboxes. Over the years, we've gotten specialty tools that we've had to buy.
Right.
And I don't even have them all. A lot of them are at our old shop because Dad wants to keep them.
Right.
So it just, and to do the job right, a lot of that stuff you need it. In some cases.
Mm-hmm.
The old SAM tester, that never worked. It's expensive as crap. This thing here, I've never actually gotten a result that worked out of it. They still make me buy it. When I bought that one, I knew it didn't work, but they still made me do it. Now I remember Tecumseh. This is exceptionally rare. A Tecumseh dial indicator.
Yeah.
This actually threads in there and will tell you top dead center essentially what that was actually used for.
Really?
And this threads right into the spark plug hole. And have I actually ever used it for that? No, but it's a cool dial indicator.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I've kept the threaded piece around because I can lock my bracket around it without removing it, so I still use it. I've got him. I think all my dial indicators are Chinese of that size, but it's kind of cool to have a Tecumseh one. But they made everybody buy that crap. A lot of the stuff that was required. Well, apparently we're open. That's my wife opening the front door. I probably need to get going.
Yeah, it's 7:54 now my time, and
same here.
I think
I opened about 5 minutes.
I think I'm gonna go kick the wife out of bed and get her day started and everything.
As soon as I can get working on my YouTube videos uploaded, because I hear them on my phone, but when I upload them, they don't. I'm going to try to get a full Toolbox Tours video series running. Because my insurance company wants it. But I said wow, we actually have customers in here. The sound you're hearing is the door opening.
Right.
The wife's back here. Sorry about the noise.
That's okay.
But as I said, I plan on doing. It's going to be a series because there's actually, counting that as a box, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 boxes.
Wow.
So
wow.
It's gonna be a video series, not a single video. But that's gonna be the last video I think on this channel. There's probably that, maybe a shop tour.
Right.
Then I'm gonna go to my remake channel, which is going to be for fun, and probably for the most part stop talking about small engines, other than maybe on your channel.
Right.
Because I do this for a living.
Right.
That's why I joke about it. I will tell you one thing: if you ever hear me list a stat, it's going to be so far off that it's a joke, and you should know that, or it'll be correct.
Yeah.
You know, if you got to question it, if it's not like, oh, the engine can run without oil, it's not, you know. The stats
Robert,
probably
it's
going to
been
be correct.
Robert, it's been a real good pleasure having you up, man. I appreciate it. Anytime, whenever you want to, come on up, man. And I appreciate you.
it, but I probably need to get to work because I got about 4 minutes to open up. Have a good one.
Right. You too, man. Have a good one. We'll see y'all later, and I appreciate everybody that came up in the chat. And y'all have a good, blessed day. Be careful out there. And we'll see you. God bless. Bye-bye.